So let me tell you a story about the group of the female lawyers and judges who we brought over in January. I had the great privilege of spending 2.5 weeks with them as they went through trainings in all aspects of law. But the most important thing that they learned during that trip was what it was like to be in America, what it was like to have access to all of these freedoms. They came, when they first came, they were very covered. They kept their heads covered at all times. They were very quiet and reserved. They weren't very trusting. By the time they left, they were looking just like all of us here. They had gone to the beauty parlor and had their hair done. They had visited CVS and taken advantage of all the things that we have to offer there. And they were speaking out strongly about the challenges that women face in Afghan society today. Right now, we had in this group with us the chief judge of the counter-narcotics court in the counter-narcotics tribunal in Kabul. Her predecessor had just been assassinated 4 months earlier, and at first, the government did not give her any protection. So every day, she was going into court and staring down Taliban drug dealers who were financing the war on terror against America, and no one was giving her any support. Finally, by the time she got to the US, she had some guards with her. But every single day, she goes in there and she risks her life to try to put the people in jail who are trying to finance the war on terror against America. And I thank her for doing that. She's risking her life on our behalf, just as many of us are in the Army are risking their lives on our behalf as well. Another woman who was in the program, Maria Bashir. She's the top female prosecutor in all of Afghanistan. She runs what the equivalent of a state. It's called Herat. It borders Iran. And right now, she's lost 2 of her bodyguards to an attack by the Taliban. She's under death threat by the Taliban. Her 2 children are in hiding in the house. They haven't been able to leave their house for months. They're teenagers. Imagine that. Teenagers stuck in the house for months. And they know that if they leave, they will be assassinated or kidnapped. And yet every single day, she goes to work and she puts the bad guys in jail. She's the prosecutor for that entire state in a place where being a woman is not easy and very rarely respected. So she's out there working. When I asked her, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? She said, because I have the right in the Constitution to equal treatment. I have a right to work. And if I don't assert these rights, then women will never have them. You can't have a right and not exercise it. And if I die because of it, well, then I will have died for a good cause. She was the most inspirational young woman I've ever met. She's in her mid-30s, and she is willing to do the same things that our founding fathers did to found this country. And I walked away from my experience with these women thinking that they are the founding mothers of democracy in Afghanistan. And we here in America need to do everything we can to support their rights, to support the exercise of their rights, and to make sure that our country does not so tire of this effort that we think, okay, it's all right to put women's rights on the table as a negotiating chip. We don't care what happens to the women as long as we have stability, for example. I hear people saying that now from time to time. We must make sure that our legacy in Afghanistan is one of not only peace and security, but also human rights and equal rights for women. That's what people have fought and died for, and we need to make sure that that's the reality. That's what I'm working for with the public-private partnership, and I hope that if any of you know of lawyers or judges who would like to join in our effort, private practitioners, bar associations, please reach out to me and let me know. Right now we have a brilliant young man coming to study to get his LLM at Harvard next year. Harvard gave him a $47,000 scholarship, but I still have to raise the $25,000 he needs to live next year. So right now he's in my attic, for the year. If I don't find this, if I don't find the $25,000. So if you know of any lawyers who are willing to help out with this great project of creating a future leader in Afghanistan, which he will be, and he's pledged to go back and to spend his education on improving Afghanistan and improving law in Afghanistan, please let me know. And I would love to hear from all of you and work on this project with you together. I have to say that as I look at the news, it becomes more and more important to me that we succeed in Afghanistan, not just from a standpoint of human rights or justifying the loss of life that has already gone on in that country and in this conflict. But when you see what's happening in Pakistan right now, when we see the Taliban advancing on Islamabad, when you realize that the Taliban could have their hands on nuclear weapons, they're 70 miles away from having nuclear capability. And if they have it, Al-Qaeda has it. We need to succeed in this conflict, and we need to be dedicated to it, and we need to give our troops all the support we can possibly give them so that they have the strength and the courage and the determination to follow through for us, because they are doing something extremely important right now. It's very far away, and it's very hard to wrap our minds around it, but I can tell you there is no more significant conflict that I've experienced during my lifetime than the one that's happening right now in Afghanistan and Pakistan. So I think we need to be aware of that, talk about it, be supportive, let our government officials know that we support our troops in Afghanistan and we support our country's success against Al-Qaeda and the Taliban in Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's critically important. If I could change gears completely here for a second, go to Frank's birthday party. It is a very fun event, and I can tell you that Frank is not only one of the best sheriffs in Massachusetts, he's one of the best sheriffs in the entire country. He is a leader in reentry. He was a leader in helping me stop drunk driving in Massachusetts, or put a curb on it anyway. And you know, whenever you talk to Frank, he's on the cutting edge of every idea. We should be so proud of him as Republicans and as people who live on the North Shore. He makes this a safe place, and I'm just so proud to have you as my sheriff. I hope you get reelected.